The new Klipsch Reference line represents their most affordable speakers, your entry ticket into the world of Klipsch. But these are the true Klipsch, embodying all the values of this company, their recognizable design and all the main proprietary technologies. But why are they so cheap? Where did they cut corners? Let's jump into it. The new models of the reference series are as similar as possible to the previous generation. They simply improved and polished everything that worked well before. So what do we have here? There are two models of floor-standing speakers, R800 and R600F, bookshelf speakers R50M, Dolby Atmos R40SA models, which are installed on the top of floor-standing speakers and connected to them with separate cables. And here is the R50C center channel speaker. But in general, the lineup is almost twice as large. It has one more model of bookshelf speakers, two subwoofers, one more center channel and floor-standing speakers with a built-in Dolby Atmos module. The cabinets are made of MDF and finished with black vinyl. Glory to the chemical industry, it's extremely difficult to suspect artificiality in this wood texture. This is really a very good optical and tactile illusion. On the rear, you'll find that the rear panel doesn't look uniform like in more expensive speakers, but how often do you look in there? Personally, I think that if you are making inexpensive speakers, then you must put everything into sound and not into the decoration that no one sees. But no matter how inexpensive these speakers are, I think everyone will agree with me. From the facade, they look very decent and I would even say impressive. This is because the lines have become cleaner, the facade looks neater now. Looking ahead, I will say that their signature Tractix horn has become larger. It has now stretched to the very edges and all the screws has disappeared, by the way. But the speakers look cool not only for this reason. Their proprietary technologies that directly affect the sound are combined here. But before we talk about this, there are a couple of nice details. They have beautiful magnetic grills and the floor standers still have strong die-cast legs, which may prevent you from leveling the speakers on an uneven floor. They are inexpensive loudspeakers, but there is a place in them for such pleasant things that I do appreciate. By the way, look at how elegantly they arrange the acoustic terminals of the floor-standing speakers. They are lined up and are placed as low as possible. No one looks into the speaker's manual, so the same thing that happened to me can happen to you. I began to look for jumpers, but there were none. It turns out that B-wiring is not provided here. The second pair of terminals is the bypass for the Dolby Atmos module. But shelf speakers have only one pair of terminals. So what about the design? All the speakers are two-way speakers with a phase inverter port at the back, but the floor standards have dual woofers and a rectangular port. But the bookshelf ones have a traditional round-shaped phase inverter. All the models have the same exclusive tweeters. These are updated linear travel suspension drivers. Their design uses a lightweight and rigid aluminum dome with Kapton suspension, which combine to deliver very high resolution and efficiency. If we try to look inside, we will see that an additional diffuser is installed in front of the tweeter dome, which allows this small driver for proper interaction with another proprietary technology of their own and their hallmark, the Tractix horn. In this generation, it has been given a new geometry with increased outer horn dimensions, resulting in a better control and directivity of high frequencies and in a more accurate soundstage. The midwoofers are made from proprietary thermoformed crystalline polymer coated with copper. Thanks to the copper plating, the cones have this vibrant color. This composite cones, according to Klipsch, has an excellent weight-to-stiffness ratio. In the new generation, the geometry of these cones has been improved. They have steeper angling, This helped to smoother the frequency response and increase the accuracy and transparency of the sound. Additional ribs increase their overall rigidity and don't allow these cones to deform on the highest frequencies. The midwoofers differ in diameter. There are 5¼ inches drivers in the shelf speakers, 6.5 in the smaller floor standing speakers, and impressive 8 inches in the top model. As you can imagine, Klipsch implements a strategy of precision and transparency. All these drivers are made as stiff and light as possible, unlike their big warm paper cones. However, these speakers have much more interesting tuning than you might expect from a precision speaker. The Klipsch Reference weren't as boring as I expected them to be when reading the specs. And if you look at the specs, you'll see that all the speakers have very high sensitivity and nominal impedance of 8 ohms, which promises us a friendly attitude towards a wide range of receivers and amplifiers, including low-powered ones. Large floor standing speakers with 98 dB and 8 ohms won't be difficult for driving at all. To rate their sound, I have a very well-equipped German hybrid amplifier here. It's called Magnet MA900 and has a preliminary stage with 2 ECC81 tubes and a solid-state output stage. In addition to it, I had Emotiva solid-state amplifiers at my disposal, a Basics PT1 preamp and a Basics A2 power amp. I used a Magnet MMS 730 streamer as a digital source and a music hall turntable as an analog source. Both amps proved to be quite good, but personally the pair with the hybrid Magnet turned out to be more pleasant to me. This doesn't mean that Emotiva failed, just here they will probably appeal to many more because of their greater accuracy. But personally, I wanted to listen to speakers in a more colorful context. A combination with a hybrid amplifier for my taste gives a more exciting sound. You can almost swallow this sound, and that's why. These speakers, in fact, with all the accuracy of their drivers, add some coloration to the sound, making it bright at the edges of the range. They are very juicy, punchy, with a detailed, moderately streaked top. Light tube saturation impacting all this gives a stunning effect. The new Foals album sounds very lively and even festive here. The sound is rich, very energetic and vibrant. Their music almost never gets blurred or sluggish, as it sometimes happens on inexpensive speakers. Their attraction to a minimal distortions is very obvious here. I can see how the buyer of such speakers listening to Foals will spread in a smile, so did I. Yes, in particularly intense moments, advanced listeners will notice that some things are simplified, but looking at their price tag, they can be forgiven for such minor weaknesses. All in all, these speakers don't feel lazy. For those who are into intricate electronic music, I recommend the magnificent new album by Mike Paradinas, better known as µ-Ziq. His broken rhythms, as if they came from the 90s, being beaten out by these bronze cones, swoop you with furious force and speed, and the synthesizers remaining on the main rolls, spread out in all directions, creating a clear three-dimensional picture. Pretty impressive presentation. If you like something more naturally sounding, jazzy but not boring, then Adam's Scrimshire is right there for you. His music is a pleasant combination of jazz, funk and soul, with a modern take on these dusty genres, but loved by so many people. With this music, Klipsch proved to be quite technical but not intrusive speakers. They convey all the warmth and smoothness that this music has, without making the sound dry and brittle. These speakers know how to be cozy when the recording demands it. And their excellent dynamic abilities make it possible to preserve the nerve that bring jazz in general and the electric organ in particular. If you're into alt vinyl, the reference series are already confident enough to deliver the charms of analog recordings. For example, the great prog rock band Renaissance, the American press of 1972, sounds really great. open, airy, and the voice of any Haslam will blow you away like a student's joint. The cleanliness and breadth of good old records suits these speakers well without a doubt. Altogether, they feel great on rock, jazz, tricky electronics, and even the old drawn-out prog rock sounds absolutely gorgeous with them. What about the drawbacks? Yes, of course, they aren't perfect and it's easy to find a cooler replacement for them, but with one disclaimer: not for the price that they are asking for. Today, these are some of the coolest and most modern budget audiophile speakers on the market, and even from a famous brand with its own philosophy and long history. But at this price range, you'll still have to put up with the fact that you can't put them on spikes, won't have a seamless finish and natural veneer on these cabinets, and their wide color range consists of no alternative black only. As for the character, some fans of a completely neutral and uncolored sound may find them a little bit garish. But if you need cheerful companions bringing you happiness every day, then they are what you need. And answering your question which one you should choose, I would solely go by the size of the room and how much bass you need. If the second is important to you, then I would stop at the floor-standing ones. But if you need monitors for a small room, then the shelf speakers are what you need. After all, you can add subwoofer later. Otherwise, all speakers are very similar and this lively character is present in each of them. If you are looking for technical but not boring, colorful sounding speakers and you're on a tight budget, the NEWEST Klipsch Reference are must listen. I'm absolutely sure that you will simply fall in love with them. Not every speaker can offer so much classy, thoroughbred sound for such a meager budget.